What's up, everybody? Welcome to Korean Drama Reviews, where we review, summarize, and explain your favorite Korean dramas in under 10 minutes. Today, we're going to be reviewing Kingdom Season 2. So sit back, relax, and let's put 10 minutes up on the clock. Season 2 begins where we left off, with the impending zombie horde. We then return to the battlefield where Prince Chang and company are trying to push back wave after wave of zombies. Eventually, they are overwhelmed and they fall back to Songju. Prince Chang and the others flee to a secret passageway. As they flee, one of Lord An's men sacrifices himself by pulling a horde and holding the door and saving the others, giving them an opportunity to run. They arrive safely in Songju. That night, Moo Young overhears Lord An talking about how he had prior knowledge about the plague. Worried, he warns Prince Chang and urges him to leave Songju. Prince Chang accuses him of being the Lord Cho's mole. Moo Young is flabbergasted at his accusation and reminds Prince Chang that he left his pregnant wife behind to serve the prince. Suddenly, an explosion happens, and it turns out that one of the residents accidentally explodes the rest of their food stores. Because their food stores are now gone, Prince Chang decides to leave for Seije to kill Lord Cho and take charge of the nation. In order for him to escape, soldiers drip blood as a diversion to the zombies. They arrive at Seije and manage to sneak into the camp, but then they notice that it's unusually empty. Prince Chan makes it to the throne, and the zombie king attacks him. He fights and beheads his father in front of Lord An and the other court officials. They label Prince Chang as a traitor and arrest him. Lord An defends Prince Chang and takes multiple bullets to the back and dies. The king has officially died, and everyone patiently awaits the queen, who has gone into labor, or so she has told everyone that. Investigator Min has been looking into the queen's mysterious pregnancy and also reports of missing pregnant women and dead bodies being carted around at night. He finds trails of blood in the floorboards of the houses and also notices that there have been recent diggings around the area as well. He finds that the female babies were strangled to death while the male babies were all stillborn. He deduces that whoever murdered these people were looking for a son. As his investigation furthers, the queen detains him. Sobi and Brompao go to see Lord Cho, who finds out that Sobi is a doctor who has been studying the resurrection plan. He decides to keep her around. Sobi realizes that Prince Chang has been arrested for killing the king and goes to tend to his wounds. He then writes her a hidden message on the ground with water. Young Shin decides to try to kill Lord Cho with one last attempt. They fight off their guards and escape. Young Shin manages to shoot his gun, and although he doesn't kill him, he opens a wound on Lord Cho's face. As Young Shin is being detained, they notice Lord An in zombie mode. Lord An is attracted to the fresh blood on Lord Cho's face and charges towards him and bites Lord Cho right in the face. We learn that Lord An's plan was to be turned into a zombie so Prince Chang could prove his innocence. Chang then ordered Sobi with a message written in water to resurrect Lord An. Everyone witnesses that, in fact, Prince Chan is not a murderer and that the king was a zombie made from Cho's doing. We see a flashback to 3 years ago with Lord Cho and An discussing how to win a battle against the invading Japanese. They are outnumbered and outgunned, so they devise a plan to zombify a village whose residents are all sick and dying anyways. Lord An has some moral reservations about creating this zombie army, but decides to go along with the plan for the greater good. With Seije forces now behind him, Prince Chang devises a plan to deliver food to Songju. They use cannons to distract the zombies as they chase the soldiers, and a kite flies at the end for visibility as the troops enter the mountain and into Songju. Byeonpao begs Sobi to save his uncle Lord Cho, and Sobi works to find a cure. Moo Young betrays Prince Chang and kidnaps Lord Cho. We see a flashback and learn that the Cho clan took Moo Young's pregnant wife and threatened him to work as a mole for them. Moo Young makes a stop to care for Lord Cho. He demands to know what is happening to all the pregnant women that were kidnapped, including his wife. Lord Cho says he has no idea what he's talking about, and it turns out that only the queen is behind this scheme. Soldiers arrive at the house and shoot arrows at Moo Young. Moo Young stays behind dying as Sobi leaves with Lord Cho. Moo Young tells the prince the truth about his kidnapped pregnant wife. Prince Chang finds him dead in the woods and lets out a cry for his old friend. We then see Moo Young's son being born and claimed as the queen's son. Prince Chang arrives in time to save Moo Young's wife from murder. Sobi finds that the cure to this illness is simply water. They test out this theory by dunking Lord Cho in water until worms come out of his wound. Sobi shows Prince Chang the worms and discusses with him her findings. It turns out the eggs from the resurrection plant hatch inside the host's body and turn the host into a zombie. He then asks Sobi to become the Queen's doctor and find out any information that she can. Byeonpal recommends Sobi to be the Queen's doctor and Lord Cho agrees. He brings Sobi to see the Queen and examine her since she has just given birth. Reluctantly, the Queen obliges, and Sobi realizes that she has not given birth and the child is not hers. Lord Cho tells her that she will trash their bloodline and that he plans to kill the child. He then starts coughing, and we realize that the Queen has poisoned her father. The Queen locks up Sobi in a dungeon with caged zombies in the next cell and tells her to learn more about the infection, as she plans to use these zombies to amass power. Meanwhile, Prince Chang is trying to figure out a way to get into the capital. We see Prince Chang addressing his troops, and he tells them that the price of loyalty to him could be death, as the Queen is still in power. One of his commanders goes to the Cho clan, pleading for mercy on his family in exchange for information on Chang's plans and location. Just when you think that that person has betrayed him, we realize that he was a decoy the whole time, misleading the royal troops out of the capital. We see Prince Chang present his identification tag at the gates, and they lock the gates behind them. Then they move towards the Queen. Byeonpal is in charge of sentencing all the supporters of Prince Chang to death, but his morals will not let him do so. Prince Chang overhears him, and the families of his supporters are all released. The royal court all supports Chang as he makes his way to the chambers. He finds the Queen sitting on the throne with her newborn son in her arms. He demands that she step down as queen, but she refuses and says that her son is the legitimate heir to the throne. When the Queen's main court lady learns of the dethronement, she seeks their last resort. She releases all the zombies kept in the dungeon. Sobi manages to cut herself free and walks out into the courtyard, which is now overrun with zombies. She tells Chang, "If I can't have the throne, then no one can." The court and all the royal servants are completely massacred by the zombies, all while the Queen sits there with a blank look on her face. The zombies break through to the main chamber and eventually reach and devour her. Sobi finds the crying baby and runs with him in her arms with a fire blanket to repel the zombies. Prince Chang devises a plan to get to the large pond in the garden, which can protect them from the zombies. They head on the rooftops towards the garden using their blood as distraction. Sobi is running, and then she sees the baby is bleeding. They make it to the pond, which is unfortunately frozen over. They hold their ground and stand in front of a pagoda, bracing for the horde of impending zombies. The zombies arrive and the gunmen start shooting at the ice to break it. After multiple shots, the ice still remains a solid piece. Everyone continues fighting and the ice still remains intact. The gunmen go down and everyone gets bitten. Prince Chang tries to shoot the ice again, but it doesn't break. He starts punching the ice with his fist, but it still won't break. Then he sees a large zombie running towards him and he judo throws him into the ice, breaking the ice. This causes a chain reaction into the ice and everyone falls into the water. We see worms wiggling out of the bodies as Chang and the others make it to the surface alive. Prince Chang goes looking for the baby prince, and he is advised to kill him because he is the only threat to his kingship. Sobi comes out of hiding holding the baby and begs him to change his mind. He tells her that both of them cannot exist together and that one of them must die. He raises his sword and the screen fades to black. 7 years later, we see the young king with a scar on his hand participating in a ceremony. Byeonpal is now his advisor and tells the king to finish his studies. His birth mom is now a lady of the court, and she passes by looking. We learn that Prince Chang decided that the baby boy would be a better fit for the nation as he was the true heir to the throne, while Chang's name was tarnished with the murder of his father. He says that his gift to this nation is to give them a good king. He says that the child is of royal blood because he considered Mu Young as his brother. Sobi is with the crown prince still researching the infection. She thinks that the resurrection plant holds more secrets. We see Prince Chang and Sobi looking for a vendor of the resurrection plant and run into zombies and Jeong Ji-hoon? Okay. Meanwhile, back at the palace, we see a worm emerging from the king's scar. Let's crunch the numbers. Kingdom Season 2 was a 6-episode series totaling a watch time of 6 hours. To do this review in under 10 minutes, that means each episode had to be reviewed in 1 minute 40 seconds on average. Did you like our review? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We look forward to seeing you on our next video.